After I received my ADHD diagnosis, inattentive type, I decided or made the decision for myself that I did not want to be medicated. I chose to regulate with supplements for multiple reasons. And we're going to get into what supplements I take and how I'm doing with those supplements. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Brianna and I am the era of what we call becoming, okay? I am transitioning into the woman that I am becoming. That's what that means. I'm doing my very best. I am a nurse practitioner who specializes in GI. I am also a mother, a wife, a homemaker. I love scents, books, fashion. That is all the things that you'll get here, and today we are going to be talking about ADHD, my diagnosis, and why I decided not to be medicated and treat myself with supplements for the time being. So what does a person with ADHD inattentive type looks like? For me, that looks like trying to decide what deserves attention and what doesn't. Focus isn't always consistent, even when the motivation is there. And I see that a lot with my content creation. I'm motivated to do it, but I'm not focused, or I'll record all the videos and then as soon as it's time to edit, that's pretty much it for me. Also, this goes very undiagnosed in women or just flies under the radar, especially if you are, like, as a kid, you're not having disruptive behaviors. You might fly under the radar. A couple of other things, it's like you might be labeled as a daydreamer or an overthinker. I am both of those things. So it doesn't really look like, again, the hyperactivity that people usually focus on. We have a little bit more difficulty with processing certain things that is like the prefrontal cortex, executive functioning, and those kinds of pathways. So those are the things that you probably would not typically see on the outside. We look well put together on the outside, but in the inside or in our brain, it's like 1,000 tabs open all the time. So when we talk about ADHD, and I do have my notes here just so that I don't forget what I want to talk to y'all about, but we always focus on ADHD and hyperactivity. I know when we were growing up, or back in the day, for me at least, some of the things I experienced for maybe kids in my class and stuff like that is that anytime you were extra hyper and couldn't focus and did all the things, they may have diagnosed you with ADHD hyperactivity. But there is a second type, which is called inattentive type, and I didn't even know that this was a type until, one, I got my diagnosis. Two, I started to do the research on what that means for me so that I could try to link my experiences and the things that I've experienced in life to that and just get some clarity and some answers. So inattentive is more internal and it often gets overlooked with women. So a couple of things, and this is just from my notes. Attention regulation. I didn't really notice any attention regulation until, I would say, very recently. And I think it's just because if you are a mom, you have to remember a lot of things for your kids, like activity, their school off days, what they can eat for lunch. As far as my child is very picky. He is a very picky toddler. So I'm like, what am I going to send to school for him today? What can I send for the rest of the week? We got appointments. What is that? On top of my own tasks and things that I have to remember, and then things that my husband may have asked me to do, things for the home. So when I'm overloaded with tasks and things like that, I'm just like, sometimes I cannot focus. I also seen a change in communication, which is something that my husband had picked up. He would be talking to me and it could just be about something that wasn't important. Sometimes it is important. And once he got to a certain point, I would clock out. I literally would just be like, what did you say? Or I would pick up the phone, and something my therapist told me is put down the phone, because then you won't have anything to pick up that would distract you in any way. So I'm like, I'll put down the phone. And that's another thing. In this day and age, everything is digital. So we always just want to pick our phones up. And so it's just kind of, you need less distraction. She also told me that sometimes you might have to put things on the time limit. If this is an important subject that you have to discuss, you might have to put a timer on. And not because you're trying to be rude, but you're giving your brain increments to say you need to stay focused within this time frame so that we can listen to what we need to listen to and focus on the subject and be able to respond. We also have certain symptoms like organization and task follow through. Now, I pride myself on being type A because I cannot function without organization, and I really feel like that was a method for me to be able to thrive in the ADHD that was unknown prior to my diagnosis last May. So everything was one way in the calendar, etc. This past year, though, I stopped using my calendar. I was very forgetful about things I was supposed to do. In Inattentive type, they also talk about task regulation and follow through, which, for example, my husband used to say, when I ask you to do something, I got to check and see if you do it, because if not, it's going to be a couple days before you get it done, or I might have to ask again. So I've told him to just keep asking me, even though I cannot stand when somebody asks me stuff multiple times. If that is the way it has to get done, then it has to get done. I also thought back to a lot of things that I've done in the past, and there's some projects and things that I have done and created with so much time, effort, joy, and then they just kind of fell off the map. I never finished them, or I just got bored with it or tired with it. And I was just like, why is that? I can't complete anything, or I'm doing projects or doing content creation, or maybe I want to start a website and then all of a sudden it just drops. And it's just like, why is that? And this whole time it's been ADHD. So let's get into why I didn't want to get medicated and what I'm using to keep things afloat. So first, let me say that supplements are not a replacement for ADHD medication. However, for people who have been diagnosed and would like to take a different route that is not medication, whether it's stimulants or non, there are supplements that help to support brain health, mental focus, and different things like that. And that is a route that I chose to go just because I really don't want to take medication. I don't take medication at all, except for supplements. So since I was already doing that, I just did my research. I also seen a creator on Instagram talk about the supplements that she had been using and how they helped her. And so I got everything that she said, some of the stuff I already had, and I just started taking them. And I have been very consistent with those, and I have seen a change. Or I have seen the support in what that looks like, how focused I can stay on task, how productive I can be, how I can get things done. When my husband asks me to do something, I can follow through with those things. So let's talk about the supplements that I've been using. So people think that creatine is just for the gym. And it is a great supplement for the gym. However, it is a great supplement for your brain as well. So creatine helps to generate ATP, which is the energy in the body that the brain uses. Our brain uses a lot of energy. We are actively doing tasks all day, moving around, got to think about that in the third. So I take creatine every day, on top of the fact that I'm on my little gym journey and all of that stuff. So this is just a great supplement for me gym-wise and also for my brain. This helps for mental stamina, basically. So when I think of mental stamina, I think about what I have to do every day. So every day I have to chart. I see 15 patients. I have to chart on them, all 15 patients. And I try to get all my charts closed by the end of the day because I do not want to come back and do, I just don't want to come back the next day and have to do no more charts, child. I don't want to do all that. So with that being said, but previously I used to just crash in between. I would just get so tired and I would open the chart and start typing and all that, and then I would stop. Open it and then I would stop, or whatever the case may be. Now I'm able to get through charts very quickly and just, all right, let's keep it moving. So I take creatine every day for that purpose. The next supplement is L-theanine, and I got this from Sports Research. I'll make sure that I tag these in the description box, and I'll put a link for y'all as well. But this supplement is an amino acid which helps with alpha brain waves. So basically calm concentration. So it doesn't make me sleepy or anything like that, but it helps with the overstimulation. So basically it's calming the noise in the background so I can focus. So I'm not having racing thoughts. I'm not trying to figure out, oh, what do I have to do next? I'm not shifting from one thing to the other without finishing a task first. And honestly, it just has worked wonders for me. So I hope if you guys decide to use it, that it works wonders for you as well. So the last supplement that I have here is magnesium L-threonate, again, which is one of the supplements that the creator has shared. And I take these two together. Well, I take all three of them. But I've never taken L-threonate without L-theanine, because you probably don't need no coffee if you take it by yourself. And I think you can take this 3 times a day, if I'm not mistaken. But this is supposed to help to cross the brain more effectively. So it helps with things like memory and learning pathways, and then also nervous system regulation. And I am reading from my notes just because I just want to make sure I am educating y'all correctly. But this combo or trio that I have here, it really works well. I take it every morning right after I finish my workout. Sometimes I still drink coffee, sometimes I don't. There's been days where I have had the supplements and not had to have coffee at all. I was able to stay focused, and I've had less migraine headaches too with these. And I'm not saying that they cure migraines by any means, but when you cut caffeine, of course, you have headaches sometimes because of the lack of caffeine. But I haven't needed caffeine as much. And even without it, I don't have as many headaches as I usually would. So I will say I'm not trying to force focus. What I'm trying to do is use the systems in my body to make focus easier. Also, a tip: please talk to your healthcare provider before you start any supplements, especially if you have any other comorbidities, if you're pregnant or have kidney issues. These supplements are not FDA regulated like medications are, and results will probably vary person to person. This is what works for me. There may be somebody out there who has tried these supplements and it didn't work for them at all, and medications did. Whatever works for you, do it. This is what works for me, and this is one of the reasons why I'm thriving right now. I don't know if it will always be this way. I hope it stays this way. So I don't have to take medication. I'm not against it. I just wanted to try something different before being prescribed medication. So that's my reasoning. Also, masking is a big thing for us. It's like a survival tactic or a survival symptom. I actually just talked with my best friend about this last week, just about the fact that we probably masked through adulthood, so we really didn't know. And especially for me, I've been in college since I was 18 years old. It's been 5 years since I've been a nurse practitioner, so I've been out of school for 5 years. And I really do think at that point, that's when I started to see my symptoms, and then after things really kicked up for me. But I was able to mask because I was always task oriented because I was in school. I also had to work. So it really wasn't enough time to just slip back and see things. I just had to keep it moving, especially. And then on top of that, just put life on top of that. You just got to keep it moving. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if there's any women, even Black women that specific who may be in healthcare or who may be in other careers who are late or being lately diagnosed with ADHD, whether that's hyperactivity or inattentive type, I hope this video also finds you so that you know that it's not just you going through this. There are a lot of us being diagnosed in our early mid 30s, and some people being diagnosed before that. But we are here together to create community and to help each other feel safe in this community as well. So I can't even believe I'm neurodivergent, that's what the term is, but I'm living with it. And I don't want to let ADHD get me. I want to learn how to live with it, but still thrive. And so that's why I want to share these videos with you guys, just so that if anybody needs information or has information to add to these videos, we're open to hearing it. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be continuing this series with talking about how I manage my tasks day to day with being a becoming woman and trying to do my best in the different roles that I am in. I think I'll also talk about how I function as a nurse practitioner with my ADHD and what that looks like. So if that's something that you guys are interested in hearing, please subscribe and share, and drop down in the comments any other topics ADHD wise that you think we should talk about. Bye.